Marcus Wyatt, and this video is brought to you by the Cape Town Music Academy. So today I thought I would talk a little bit about how we support each other as musicians, and also the idea of how we might want to support each other a little bit more in South Africa, within our own scene. So a friend of mine, the inimitable great saxophonist Russ Norwich from Cape Town, one day him and I were talking about one of these awards, Summer Awards, I think, and he had this idea, and it was such a great idea. It was basically, what if for these kind of competitions, the judges were musicians, right? And to be more specific, were basically our peers. So pop categories chosen by pop musicians, and the jazz categories chosen by jazz musicians. I mean, I won't go into the whole concept of how you can ever decide that one piece of art is better than another piece of art. Obviously the whole thing is super subjective, but since these things do exist, wouldn't it be cool if we decided for ourselves which albums were, we thought were right up there. And I remember us saying what would be such an advantage in that would be that everyone would have to listen to everyone else's music and have to listen to everyone else's albums. And I thought about that, and it really is a good idea, because I don't know that it necessarily happens enough. The more I travel throughout my musical life, the more I've realized that in South Africa we have something quite special. The musicians here have such a voice, and I think have had historically for quite some time, going back to the start of the jazz movement in South Africa, through to the exiles who left and went and lived abroad. There's something very special about the way people play, the way they sound, the sound they produce, and what they have to say. And I think that sometimes we tend to look a little bit too much out to, the States, to America, maybe to Europe. I think it's very good to look outwards when it comes to certain things like production value and technology. We do want our music and our albums to be able to compete on a global scale, in terms of, sonically how they sound, how they're produced. They obviously, so that's always a good thing, and I think it's always good to compare the sound of your music to those records that you hold up high. I also think that there's of course no issue in looking out and admiring musicians from around the world. That's something that is quite necessary, I guess. I guess what I'm trying to say is more that if we were to really invest in each other's music here a lot more. I know that there are people who do this, and I'm not suggesting that people don't do that. But I think it could happen on a larger scale. If you can, you should go and, well, you can't go anywhere right now. But online, if you can afford to, you should try to buy as many albums of your peers as possible and listen to them. Otherwise, obviously, you can do a bartering situation if you have an album to trade. But that way, I think that people will gain a lot from that, and as a result, the whole scene could really benefit, because we would be feeding off each other's ideas, as opposed to following international trends the whole time. And I think that South African music is unique enough to set its own trends. So yeah, I mean, it's something, I guess, that I have always been fairly conscious of. I don't always do it as much as I want, but I have made where I can, I've always tried to buy albums from fellow musicians and listen to them, listen to the album through and see what people are doing. So yeah, I think it's a good idea, and I think it can only benefit all of us if we are aware of the amazing things that everyone around us is doing. So yeah, go out there and check each other's music out and see where it takes you. All right, see ya.
One.
What?